All right, let's look at these two artists, SLART and Mary T. Smith.
Okay.
Now, they're both self-taught,
Right.
creating work that's super powerful and personal.
Yeah.
It's what some people would call art bret, raw and untamed,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
But what intrigues me is
Yeah.
imagining if their artistic worlds, like, collided.
Oh, wow.
What kind of masterpiece would emerge if they collaborated on a piece?
That is a fantastic question.
Right.
Yeah, to answer that, we really have to like break down their individual style.
Okay, so let's start with SLART.
Okay.
His story is fascinating.
It is.
Adopted by his grandparents, rediscovering his love of art later in life at 37,
Mm-hmm.
and then facing chronic illness.
Mm-hmm.
All of this finds a place in his artwork.
His CV is really revealing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the early love for drawing, and then life just gets in the way,
Oh.
only for this passion to reemerge years later, you know?
Like it was always there.
Exactly, and it makes you think how art can be this constant presence just waiting to be rekindled.
Yeah. And then the way that he combines memento mori,
Right.
reflecting on mortality with 80s and 90s pop culture images. It's such a cool mix.
It's more than cool, it's thought-provoking, you know?
Yeah.
He's not afraid to tackle complex themes like death, but he does it with a wink and a nod to the things that shaped his generation.
Right, right.
He's like asking the viewer, how has pop culture influenced our understanding of life and death?
You know, his painting Bloodlines, the self-portrait during dialysis,
Yeah.
that one really stood out to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a serious subject, but the style is so bold and graphic, almost heroic.
Exactly. He takes this really difficult personal experience and elevates it through art.
Mm.
It's not about wallowing, it's about finding strength and even humor in the face of adversity.
Oh, wow.
And that connects to his Kidney Man and Donnerman paintings,
Right.
turning his illness into these mythical, larger-than-life figures.
It's like he's taking control of the narrative.
Absolutely. And you see that playfulness again in his Fighting with My Heroes series.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that one.
So he inserts himself into these wrestling matches with icons like Schwarzenegger, Hulk Hogan, even Picasso. There's a real sense of joy and energy there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And speaking of energy, his Trespasso series with those intense blues and oranges
Oh, yeah.
and the focus on eye contact, it's almost hypnotic.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he say he was inspired by Marina
Yeah.
Abramovich?
Yes, he draws inspiration from her performance art. The artist is present.
Right.
But he's translating that concept of intense connection through eye contact onto canvas. You
Right.
feel like you're part of that exchange, that unspoken dialogue, just by looking at the painting.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Mary T. Smith.
Okay.
Her life story is inspiring, overcoming so many challenges to create this incredible body of work,
Yeah.
born into a family of sharecroppers, dealing with hearing impairment, societal limitations,
Right.
and yet she turned her home into this incredible art environment.
It's like she created her own universe, a visual language that transcends the confines of her circumstances. It's classic art brute, using whatever material she could get her hands on. Plywood, tin, recycled items. This resourcefulness speaks volumes about her determination.
She wasn't going to let anything stop her.
Yeah.
Her art is so bold and expressive.
Yeah.
Those stylized figures, often with arms raised,
Right.
almost remind me of African ceremonial masks.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the vibrant color, geometric compositions. This cryptic text, it's like you're trying to decipher a secret code.
And that's part of what makes her work so compelling.
Oh, yeah.
You're drawn into her world, trying to make sense of these personal symbols and invented words.
Right.
Think about the story of her meticulously documenting her second husband's financial mistreatment.
Oh, yeah.
It speaks to her sharp intelligence and her refusal to be silenced.
She even invented her own words.
know.
It's like she created an entirely new way of communicating, defying the limitations imposed on her.
It speaks to the power of art as a form of self-expression,
Right.
particularly for those who feel marginalized or unheard. Mary T. Smith's art is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit.
So we have SLART grappling with mortality in pop culture,
Yeah?
and Mary T. Smith transforming hardship into this symphony of color and personal symbolism. Both are incredibly talented artists, each with their unique approach to art Brit.
Right.
Now, I want to get back to the idea of them collaborating.
I think it would be a fascinating collision of styles.
Absolutely. Imagine SLART's bold figures often entangled with these pop culture icons.
Yeah.
merging with Mary T. Smith's stylized forms.
It'd be a visual feast.
It would. Yeah.
It would be interesting to see how their use of text would play out.
Oh, yeah.
SLART often incorporates words, almost like thought bubbles in a comic strip.
Right.
And Mary T. Smith has her own unique vocabulary. Would they create a whole new language together?
I wonder if SLART's playful humor would blend with the spiritual undertones we see in Mary T. Smith's work.
That's a great point. It raises the question, would their styles harmonize or clash?
I guess that's the beauty of a hypothetical collaboration.
Right.
We can explore all these possibilities.
Think about the energy in SLART's Fighting with My Hero series.
Yeah.
What if we introduce Mary T. Smith's powerful figures, arms raised into that scene?
It's like they're joining the fight, adding another layer of meaning to those wrestling matches.
Right.
Are they allies?
Yeah.
Opponents? Or maybe they represent a spiritual force that SLART's grappling with.
That ambiguity is what makes this collaboration so compelling.
Right.
We're forced to think about how these different artistic voices might interact, how their personal struggles and triumphs could intersect.
What about the color palettes?
Oh.
SLART tends toward those vibrant, pop art-inspired colors,
Right.
while Mary T. Smith uses a bolder, more earthy palette.
Imagine SLART's electric blues and oranges juxtaposed against Mary T. Smith's deep reds and yellows.
Whoa.
It could be a visual explosion,
Yeah.
but would it be harmonious or jarring?
Maybe it's a bit of both. A reflection of the beauty and chaos that comes with blending two distinct artistic visions.
And don't forget about the text.
Right.
Imagine SLART's playful phrases, perhaps borrowed from comic books or pop culture, interacting with Mary T. Smith's cryptic vocabulary.
Wow.
Would it create a new language, a hybrid of their individual expressions?
Would we see SLART's humor softening the edges of Mary T. Smith's more somber themes? Or would her spirituality infuse SLART's work with a deeper sense of purpose?
I think this hypothetical collaboration speaks to the heart of what makes outsider art so fascinating.
In what way?
It's not just about the aesthetics, it's about the stories behind the art, the raw emotions and lived experiences that find expression on the canvas.
These artists are creating from a place of deep authenticity.
Yeah.
They're not following trends or trying to fit into any particular mold. They're simply expressing themselves in the most honest way they know how.
And in that honesty, we find a connection to something larger than ourselves. Their art makes us question our own assumptions about the world.
Wow. It challenges us to see beauty in the unconventional,
Right.
to find meaning in the margins of society.
What would this collaboration say about the power of art to bridge divides?
Ooh, that's a good one.
We have two artists from vastly different backgrounds, facing different challenges, yet they're united by this shared impulse to create.
And imagine what could happen if we, as viewers, allow ourselves to be open to that connection,
Right.
to embrace the complexity and beauty of their combined vision.
It's a reminder that art isn't just about what hangs on museum walls. It's about the human spirit's ability to find meaning and expression even in the face of adversity.
And that's something worth celebrating.
So, as we imagine this hypothetical collaboration, what stands out to you? What elements of their styles would you be most excited to see combined?
I think it would be fascinating to consider how their shared outsider art label might influence a potential collaboration.
You're right. Would their outsiderness amplify in a collaboration, or would we see something totally new emerge, something that transcends that label altogether? What's so interesting about the term outsider art is that it tries to categorize artists who often resist categorization.
Right.
SLART Art and Mary T. Smith are both unique voices, and while they share this label, their styles and inspirations are so different.
Yeah, it's a reminder that labels can be both helpful and limiting.
Right.
They give us a starting point for understanding an artist's work, but they can also box us in preventing us from seeing the full scope of their creativity.
Absolutely.
If SLART Knight and Mary T. Smith were to collaborate,
Yeah,
I think it would challenge our understanding of what outsider art can be.
it would.
It would force us to confront the complexities and contradictions within the genre, to appreciate the individuality of each artist's vision.
Their collaboration wouldn't just be a merging of styles.
Right.
It would be a dialogue, a conversation between two distinct artistic languages.
Exactly. It would make us question our own assumptions about art and the creative process. What happens when we bring together seemingly disparate elements? Can we find harmony in the clash of styles, meaning in the unexpected?
Great questions.
This hypothetical collaboration has really sparked my imagination.
I can tell.
It makes me want to explore their work further,
Yeah.
to see how their individual pieces might speak to each other in new and unexpected ways.
I think that's the ultimate goal of any art experience.
What is?
To inspire curiosity, to encourage us to look at the world with fresh eyes.
So if you could ask SLART and Mary T. Smith one question
Yeah.
about this imaginary collaboration, what would it be?
Oh.
What insights would you hope to gain from their responses?
Let that question linger as you dive into their work.
Okay.
You can find Slart's art on his website, where he shares the stories behind his bold strokes and vibrant colors.
Right.
And discover the world of Mary T. Smith. Her art is in major museums now.
Wow.
But it started with a profound desire to express herself, to create beauty from hardship.
Let their art be a reminder that creativity knows no boundaries, that the most powerful stories are often told by those who dare to break the mold.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep exploring.